So I'll now come to members of the public. They're online. We've got Georgina Schuller and Zana Dean. So if we have Georgina first. You there, Georgina? No? Where is she? It's not back. Okay, so
hello?
let's go to Zana Dean first. Oh, is she here?
Hello, I'm here.
Okay. Hi, Georgina. You've got 3 minutes.
Okay, I'm going to concentrate on the estate projects because the figures on the small sites are a bit opaque at the moment. Okay, Homes for Lambeth, the council-owned housing delivery company. Sorry, I needed to do something here, sorry. Homes for Lambeth, the council-owned delivery company set up to meet the demands of the housing crisis and with a focus on homes at council level rent. Savills, a multinational property developer and estate agent, helped Lambeth set it up. A Savills survey shows the greatest supply shortfall is across the sub-market rentals, countable homes. Within its estates projects, Homes for Lambeth plans to build 954 council level rent homes. Deduct the 70 completed in Lollard Street for the number of council level rent homes to be built on the demolition estates. That leaves us with 884. These are not extra council level rent homes. These are replacements. According to a Freedom of Information request, 914 council homes will be demolished across 6 estates. So there are no extra council homes. In fact, there will be 20 fewer than exist now. Meanwhile, nearly 2,500 extra private properties are planned. The rest are in the so-called affordable range. London living rent, rent to buy, for people on incomes up to 60,000. Shared ownership for people on incomes up to 90,000. How is this helping the 38,000 on the housing waiting list, families in temporary accommodation, and hundreds of homeless? How is this helping those on low incomes, in precarious jobs and during a cost of living crisis? Savills say the socio-economic range of households on the estates raises property values as it reduces the index of mass deprivation. How simple! By changing the demographic of council estates to over 75%, including shared ownership and rent to buy, will push up property values and rents not only on the estate but in the surrounding area. This will help stoke the housing crisis, a crisis of affordability, and will push more people into the unregulated, more expensive and precarious private rented sector. All planning decisions made to demolish estates should be called in. Estate demolitions have not factored in embodied carbon or the hellish uncertainty created for the residents, and that's in addition to exceptional hardship being felt by so many as a consequence of the pandemic, the cost of living crisis, fuel poverty, and a surge in mental health problems. The solution is to borrow to retrofit to energy standards, sensitive infill with extra levels to sound structures with real resident engagement.
Georgina. Sorry, that's your time, Georgina. Georgina, you've gone over time.
Problem.
Nice. Okay. Thank you very much, Georgina. Okay. So what I was going to say is before I come to Matthew and the officers, my first thing to say is in that there were a lot of issues and quite a lot of minutiae. I don't think we're going to get through all the answers tonight. So if we don't cover something that was raised, we will get back to you with it, as you know, because we've done this before, Pete. When you have lots of questions, we will come back to you and answer those, but we just won't be able to do it in this forum tonight, all of them. Okay, thanks. So, Matthew, am I going to officers first, or did you want to kick off? How do you want to do this?
I can come back generally on a few points of clarification. I think it would probably be quite helpful to hear from Christina on financial risk. Things were mentioned about brick by brick, which I think should come from her rather than from me.
I was going to say that for me, that was there were lots of points in there, but for me, that was, I've lost my notes now where I was writing down, but the brick by brick and will we be made bankrupt is a very important question. So should we come to that first? And absolutely, and that was acknowledged by many people at Night's Walk last week about Matthew's unrelenting commitment, passion and determination that no child and no family should not be without a warm, safe home. And it's something for lots of people to aspire to. Did you want to say any wrapping up? Because I didn't come back to you when I meant to before I went to the officers.
Well, I was only going to come back and say that one of the things that's been quite frustrating this evening is hearing different numbers being thrown out, none of which tallied. Pete's numbers were different to Tim's numbers, which were different to Georgina's numbers about how many were being built, and none of them were correct. And I think it's just worth reflecting on the fact that when we look at the number of homes that are actually being built, and Tim, you're in Clapham quite a lot, probably not in Clapham Town as much as you'd like to be because you're stuck in Clapham Common at the moment doing some campaigning. But if you wanted to wander over to Westbury, you'd see not 4 new homes, but 64 new. If you came with us to the Night's Walk in Kennington, you'd see another 16. If you came with Lucy to South Lambeth, you'd see dozens more being built on the South Lambeth estate and many, many more. And whilst I haven't got lots of props like Georgina, I think it's worth reflecting that while Pete seemed to be confused between the first phase of Night's Walk and the totality, and that's why there's 16 in the first phase, so we can rehouse people and then the rest follow on. Similarly, we also have at Westbury, where we finished the first 64 new homes, now the second phase taking place. And there is not just about speculating about what's being built, we can actually see the detail because we secured the planning permission. And that second phase of Westbury, and I'll leave with this, will double the amount of affordable housing there. It will increase by 50% the amount of council housing. It will deliver a 70% reduction in carbon emissions, and we'll have 4 times as much family housing for all the government political ones. And that's the reality of it. Those are the homes that will be built. Those are the families that will move in. That's the difference that will be made to their lives. And for all the noises after, that's the ability that we have now, because we've got the ability to deliver this through Homes for Lambeth. It will be difficult. There will be delays through COVID or whatever else. There'll be other things down the line, I have no doubt. But the fact remains, we now have the planning permission, with the potential, we've got the right skills in place, and we've got the money and ability to deliver. And those homes will come through, and those families will be able to move in. For all the noise elsewhere, those families will benefit from it. I'm glad of it.
Thank you very much, Councillor. Colleagues, there's one recommendation in relation to this item, and it's on page 82 of your agenda, and that is to note the progress update contained in the Joint Delivery Plan, which is Appendix A to this report, on the recommendation of the Ownership and Stewardship Cabinet Advisory Panel. Is this agreed?
Agreed.
Thank you very much.